Hello everyone, and I just thought I'd make a video talking about the AOT characters as, well, if we're going to get another rerun with them, I would think it would be sooner rather than later, as the last collab we had was April. Actually, it wasn't too long ago, so maybe we're a little while away from a collab, hopefully not. But I'm just going to discuss what would need to happen to make these characters not meta, not sub-meta, just viable characters that could be used. I'm not talking like Demon Lord Rimuru style or Milam. Milam is now sub-meta and usable, very good for deer. I'm talking about just usable in general, for anything. Anything. The first thing they would probably need to do is just really have a rework of their stats. His lifesteal's okay, it's actually higher than Terry's, which is pretty good. Crit resistance, meh. Crit defense, meh. Resistance is a little low. Crit chance and crit dam are the things that need to be increased. Only because he's a very crit-based unit. His passive is the person with the lowest percentage of HP, he guarantee crits them. And he has a spike card, meaning he needs high crit damage. I haven't got a crit damage set on him or anything, but he is at A6, meaning that he only gains 20% out of that, so he's only got 194%, which for a crit-based unit is not very good at all. For example, the new Freya character has 254%. But he has only got like a 54% crit chance, so it does weigh out. But this is a crit-based unit that has really low crit chance and really low crit damage, so They would probably need to make a relic, which obviously increases basic stats, do the whole like slime thing where they just buff all the characters, but not buff them completely, because he is still decently strong. His passive is somewhat usable probably still. You just need to make it so he would be more... Actually, just change his Despair card, actually. His cards are not too bad. Spike and Despair, Ultimate, high multiplier, I'm not going to lie. May just want an effect on it. Even if it's like tiny, like Shatter or Charge, just give it some sort of effect. I do have him 2-6. Outfits-wise, he probably had more outfits, just I'm free to play, so don't judge me. He's not too bad of a unit. He's probably not viable today. I did level him up just in case of an AOT collab, because I do think we will be getting one this year, start of next. I do hope for a new collab though soon. Anyway, next character. This is your boy Eren. This is the SR Eren. This isn't the SSR one, this is the SR one everyone got for free. You actually got him for free 6-6. His ultimate is Shatter, decent multiplier. No, actually, it's not too bad. This is the Derriere buff card. Red Derriere's buff, not too bad. This is Freya's single target card. Pretty bad, not gonna lie. Passive, even worse. So, actually, let's look at his stats. Oh my god, okay. Crit chance is higher than Levi, don't know why. Lifesteal's fine for a human. These are horrible, that's completely horrible. Pierce is horrible. All of his stats are horrible, apart from his crit chance is a little bit better than Levi, so it's not too bad. He's an SR unit, so you can't really expect like stupid amounts from him. If you're wondering why he has some like UI outfit as well, this is for the other Eren. I guess he didn't have any event stuff out, or I couldn't get it, because the AOT collab was pretty hard. Or some of it was, at least. But for Eren to be a viable character, they would need to change his buff card, probably. Make some sort of card that would help the team. Rework this card. No, remove this card. He doesn't need this card. It's not good, honestly. As your only attack card, you want a DPS card, not a support card. His ultimate increases the heroes, by the way, so this is just himself. Not your entire team, this is just himself. And as he's not a DPS character, well, the chances are you're not going to verse an unknown unit, and if you do, you're going to be screwed, because most likely Rimuru or Fescoth or someone who's going to rip you a new one. Because this Eren has to be completely reworked. His relic would probably have to do either keep this card but give him a relic which makes him usable in another sense. His passive will have to be completely reworked though. That's not savable at all. Unless they change it to like it does increase damage increase the allies' damage dealt against all races other than humans by 30%, then I think that'd be some sort of usable passive. He also has to be up front as well. Make it so he can be in the back, and he has that. All good. He can't also be used for any of the demonic beasts because they're all fairy race. And then we have Mikasa, who was actually she was actually meta on global for a little bit when she was released, and that was because of her passive, which is actually pretty good. Because if you let's just say you have 3 allies that get, you have 2 allies, 99% of the time you have 2 allies up. They get hit, you get stacks. I think they would have to improve this, only to the sense where she gets her passive quicker, because if not, you're not surviving 10 attacks nowadays in today's meta. It's either you're losing 3 turns or you're stalling a barn team, and she's not going to win against a barn team. Her ultimate isn't actually too bad, I do give her that. Obviously mine's only 1/6, so if you add the multiplier it could actually get pretty good. Secret technique should not be a card, it should be an ultimate only thing, because it's really bad. For an ultimate it's fine, because obviously this multiplier is like 60%, which is pretty good. But not for this. She has a bleed card as well. She would heavily have to be reworked. Let's look at her stats anyway. Oh yeah, this is horrible. She would have to have all of this redone. All of this would need to be buffed to make her a viable unit. Bleed, I don't know. Maybe they can keep that. Keep her passive, just buff it. Do what they did to Milam's passive, just buff that. Change this card for like Sever or like Power Strike or just something that would make an impact, not give her a crappy card and a bleed card. Because for her relic, they could make it so she, I don't know, when she inflicts bleed, something happens, or something along the lines of that. That could actually make that bleed card usable in a sense that she can be a DPS/support unit. But in that, they would then have to completely rework all her stats, plus rework this card. The character herself, I actually really like. The outfits you got for free, which you got this one, this weapon, and this hairstyle, which I'm currently running. She's a HP defense unit, but 30% increased stats, I have to admit, it's pretty good. Obviously, if you look at like Trey and Melee, what's his like 7%, 5 times? It's a little bit. Trey and Melee's a little bit better, but he's obviously got way better stats, and that's all stats. This is just basic stats. Oh, it's all stats. Oh, that's actually pretty good then. What? Yeah, hell yeah, buff that passive, that means you'll get 30% increased crit chance. That's actually sick. I didn't actually know that. I thought it was only basic stats. That's not actually too bad of a passive. If they just buff that, rework this card, give her a relic that would help with the bleed and whatever card she gets. Her ultimate is completely fine as it is. Buff her stats. That's it. That's all I'm asking for Mikasa. But now we have the final one, the big boy. The transforming Eren, which you can't actually see. You used to be able to see it. You can't see it anymore. You used to be able to see the Titan. He needs a complete rework, honestly. Pitiful, even more pitiful. He's a human/unknown. As you can see, oh, giant, sorry. He's a human giant. Passive. His passive's not, I honestly say his passive isn't that bad. But they just need to make a way where he can get his passive, either get his ultimate really quickly, or make it so at the end, like, it's like, you know, some passives are like, oh, you get 4% till you get max ult gauge, and you get an extra 40% for hitting max ult gauge. Something like that. That'll actually make him not too bad. Cards are beyond horrible. This is Green Escanor's increase, the Green Escanor's card. It's Ikimos, and this is... don't know whose card this is. Anyway, it's horrible. The multiplier doesn't even increase on the second card, and the third card only goes up 60%. It's not worth it. Ultimate's okay. I do like the fact that it's always 30% no matter what level you are. I do believe this goes up to 50 or 60%, something along the lines of that, or maybe even 30%. I'm not actually too sure. But this ultimate increases to a higher percentage, which is fine. It's not too bad. Obviously, the more you wail, the better it is, but that's just how it is nowadays. The transformation's the same time. And now let's move on to the Titan form. Does Titan form have different stats? I think that is completely the same. Amplify's not too bad because he has buffs. Lilia's ult drain, not the best, and this is just a high damage dealing card. So I think that's literally just Escanor's ult. Green Escanol's ult, and passive is immune to ultimate move disable effects. Well, congratulations, mate. You can still be ult sealed. He needs a complete rework. Well, I mean that. I mean not just a relic to help this, but a relic to help his Titan form as well. I was thinking that of course they would have to buff the stats. This card could be okay depending on how they buff him. This needs to be completely reworked. Just remove this card, give him something that's better and actually going to be useful for him. Passive, not too bad. Maybe update it a little bit to fit today's standard of that passive, because if that was today's standard of passive, it would say, like, at the end. So let's say it's like Liz's new Bloody Ellie's passive, right? After 5 turns, she gets a 30% buff or whatever it is for 5 turns. Just do that, make it so it's like he gets like 40% increased damage dealt when he hits max ult gauge, plus so he gets 90% increased extra damage. That would actually make him pretty cool. Obviously, he has to be up front, but that's fine because that affects him. His relic would have to be something that heavily allowed him to get his ultimate quickly. Or, yeah, it would have to be something that allowed him to get his ultimate quickly. And in Titan form, it would either have to be something to make it so... Obviously, because the relic would have to also be on his Titan form, because if not, it would be a waste of a transformation. I think obviously they heavily have to rework this passive, but the relic would have to do something like he permanently stays in that form when transformed. I think that would be pretty cool. They can do that and then just give him a different relic to make it so he gets its relic slower. His passive, his ultimate ult slower. They could just do that. Obviously, his stats need to be increased. This card, change it. Honestly, it looks like it would do a lot more than what it should. Amplify is completely fine. You just need to use a buff unit with him, which means there isn't that many in the meta at the moment. There's really only really Margaret, and she's not really meta anymore because Rimru's a thing. Ultimate, not too bad. But I do think that as it's only... This is the equivalent to having a 1/6 a green Escanor, which isn't that good. Maybe lower the multiplier, but give it an effect which makes him usable again. Like a usable 1/6 ult. Not like cleave. I'm not asking for like cleave. Maybe power strike, please. Also like sever. But just heavily buff his crit damage, because 132% is not good. He isn't SA6 though. So that is maybe a slight issue. But yeah. That's really it. This is just me giving my thoughts on how they could make the AOT collab somewhat viable as a collab again, as usable characters in anything. Like you see, like YouTubers making videos of them using him in like deer or mostly any bird really, and you think, oh, let me try that. Well, you can't. If you don't have Red Tarmiel Link, or you haven't welled on the character, you can't do it because he just targets them because they got really low stats. And if you decide to dodge, you drum Matroni, use them as like the third unit on like the fourth unit on like that really broken team, you still can't. Because melee never crits. You know, melee's got like 170% crit chance. No, you half it, then divide that by 2 again, and then you expect him to never crit, and he never crits. Trust me, he only crit on his Pierce AoE cards on the final phase of floor 1 of Bird. Anyway, that's enough of me like giving a rant over stuff. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.